Welcome to Profiletraders. This is Reza and you're listening to my market analysis for January the 13th. The good thing about these recaps is that everything is listed on YouTube and you can go back and check them out to see how good or how bad the analysis is or has been. So if we go back yesterday, when we closed at 1923, I did put two lines on the chart and I said if price comes towards 1944 to 1950, that's your best area to sell into it. Last night we came where? 1944, and that was the exact area where price stopped. From that point on, 1944 all the way down to 1880. And I also warned you that on the daily chart it was looking very weak and pretty terrible. So with today's event and today's close, there is no more doubt that this market is in a complete total collapsing mode. And you have to believe it, that when it starts and it gives signs as the one we are witnessing since the beginning of January, you can keep on buying and buying and buying, thinking that the good old last 6 years of everyday rally will come and save you, and it doesn't. And that's usually how people lose their behind and even more, because people are used for the market every time that it drops to go back up, and when the reversals take place and the trend changes dramatically from up to a crashing down as we are right now, people cannot believe that this is actually happening, and they believe that somehow magically something will happen that it will save the market. This first leg of a drop that we had based on the first Chinese crisis, that was an imminent warning sign that there was an earthquake. All this retracement back up was nothing but Wall Street crooks running out a scheme to take price back up on extraordinary diverging low volume down there in order to have one last opportunity for themselves to sell into it. So from what I am seeing here, of course we are approaching very close, very significant support, but any bounce of significance from these levels have to be shorted into it. The party is over, the scam is over, the Fed has no more bullet left in their sleeves to save this economy. If anything else, with a debt approaching a catastrophic $20 trillion, they are no longer able to finance that debt at 0%. So do not be shocked at all, despite all and everybody's surprise to see that the Fed will continue to hike the rates, because like a poor bad credit person, you cannot continue to borrow the kind of money we are borrowing and pissing away and paying people 0% in exchange. So a combination of rate hikes, global slowdown, the accounting scheme and scheme run by the corporations, which was up to today issue junk bonds, gather that money, go buy your own stocks and make the stock go higher and higher and higher. All of that is finished. If I am not wrong, we are at the start of a 2007-2008 style of a crash. You add this to the fact that billions upon billions upon billions of bad debt will have to be absorbed by the banks who lend it to all the oil and drilling companies that are all gonna go belly up and default on their loans. and on the fact that every single corporation is overloaded with debt that they will most likely not be able to refinance at the rates that they issued it. All this combined together makes this market looking extraordinary bad and extraordinarily dangerous. But the real firework is going to kick in once we do break below 1820. We do break below this 1820, I do not know how far and how fast we could collapse and we could crash. But all I know is that based on today's action, with the close at the very low of the day, it is looking horrible. So on the way up, first level of resistance will be 1894. Second level of resistance will be 1900. Third level of resistance will be at 1910. Now on the way down here, 1860 is the very first significant support. If we do break below 1860, we should go down for a test of 1840 and then the very important bottom of 1823. So all of you be very careful. Do not get fooled. This is the start of an earthquake. And also, if you think about it, for example, today Amazon sold $36. It is extraordinary, unusual, and almost unseen that they would dump at the rate that they dumped Amazon today, knowing that Christmas and the holiday season was their strongest seasonal point for their sales. Usually they load up the boat going into the earnings for Amazon, for example, in January, banging that December and holiday season was a killer money making for them. But this time is different. They are dumping everything. And I can assure you there are tons and tons and tons of hedge funds also being under trouble and being forced to liquidate. So this can get out of hand very fast, very quick. You are in a completely crashing market mode, and be very, very careful with your trading, because as I said into the last recap, if you pick the slightest wrong location, you are finished. There is no forgiveness in this market. Now let's look at crude. At least the short-term good news is that with the collapse of the market, we still did hold this 30 to 30.20, which was my support zone. And as I said, this is not a toilet paper with a stamp of Priceline on it selling at $1,100, or a worthless tissue paper with a stamp of Amazon at a point selling almost for $700. This commodity is as important to us as water is. Therefore, the lowest it will go, and the more difficult it will become for them to push price further down, because there is an intrinsic value to this commodity. So at this it did hold, but in order to do anything to the upside, we have to clear up 3106. Until we do not clear up 3106 or break below 30, we are in a trading range, with your buying zone being the same as 3090 to 31 and the buying zone being 30 to 3020. And one of these sessions, tomorrow maybe, or the day after that, we are going to exit either down or up. As far as the down is concerned, I don't know how much there is left in it. When you're at $30, and I was reading an article yesterday saying how crude could go to $10, when I start to read stupidity of such analysis, some genius at $30 realized that crude could go to $10. Usually when the dumb idiot money and the late money and this kind of worthless analyst start to write article about $10 a barrel oil, very, very, very seldom it happens. So do not be surprised that we could start to see a aggressive short covering of these levels if crude starts to show signs of support building up down here. But as I said, for anything to the upside to gain momentum, we have to trade back above 31 again. So this is it for today. If you wish to learn market profile, my style, join my trading room for 1 year membership. You can get all my courses and the room membership for 1 year from my website profiletraders.com. The cost is $550 and you have a 30 days money back guarantee. Thank you for listening and to the next time.